Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking all about how to find a job, which is a very highly requested video I have had recently because if you didn't know, my name's Amber and I am a graduate of the University of Greenwich of 2020 and I've just got my postgraduate job, so there's been a lot of questions about how I went about it and tips for how to do it yourself, so I thought I'd share those with you today. If you do like this video, don't forget to hit thumbs up and subscribe down below for other productivity lifestyle videos that are coming soon. But to kick off this video, I think the first tip that I really found really useful was to narrow down what it is exactly you want to do. Now I know this can be really difficult and I would always say like keeping your options open is a great shout, but by knowing what you want to do and what you don't want to do, it really helps you kind of refine your search in terms of filters and everything like that, just so that you're not wading through too many options and that the options you are picking are pretty niche to you. So for example, I knew that I wanted to work in corporate London at a corporate events role or job or institution, whatever you want to call it. I knew that I wanted a permanent full-time role and I knew I wanted to make around 24k, so there were some really great starting options for me going ahead and inputting that data into job hunting sites. So with that, my second tip would be to keep your options open, and by this I'm talking about your filters, your job hunting sites you're using, all of the above. Just keep as many options and open as many doors to yourself as you possibly can. So for me, I switched between 3 or 4 different job hunting sites. My favourite were LinkedIn, Indeed and Reed. I use those a lot and I would keep my options open. So like I said, I would use alternative keywords. So for me as an event executive, which is my current position, I could also search for event assistant or conference producer or event planner. For me personally, I went even wider than that and the keyword I used was events, which is super vague, but it meant that jobs that weren't necessarily titled event assistant but had a lot to do with the same roles and tasks on a daily basis still came up. And some people have some really creative names for their jobs, so it just meant that I was keeping my options open. You know, I was casting a wide net and hopefully I would see as many job offerings and job posts as there were. My next tip, some people would disagree with, but it's worked pretty well for me, and it is to apply to the masses. Apply to as many jobs as you can. For me personally, I just find that the more I apply to, the more chance I have of getting one or hearing back from one, just because I think if you're very niche with what you're applying to and you only apply to like the best companies and the top 5 or whatever, they're going to be hugely competitive. They'll have a lot of other applicants and you may find that a job in a place you haven't necessarily heard of could be the one that's the perfect fit for you. So definitely apply to as many jobs as you can. I just think you have better odds that way, but I know not everyone agrees with that. The next tip is one I didn't really do that much, but it is to tailor your CV. So I would mainly just do this with jobs that I knew I really wanted or would just were like my dream job or for my dream company or just one that really appealed to me. I would make sure my CV matched the job description. So if I had put that I'm really passionate but the job description said they were looking for someone who was enthusiastic, I would just switch out those words so that they can look down their job description and go tick 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 against my CV because I've used their buzzwords, I've used their keywords, I've maybe incorporated their way of talking or their language that they used, and that way they can just see me as a better fit for the company because we're already on the same page, we already have the same mindset. So I will say if you're applying to the masses, obviously you don't want to do that for everyone, so I definitely didn't. I had quite a generic CV, but for the ones that really appealed for me or I kind of really wanted, I would go in and just tweak a few things and then obviously save that as a different copy for that specific job. Another great tip is to link to your LinkedIn or your portfolio to your CV. I personally just have a little hyperlink to my LinkedIn profile, but that just means that it's kind of an easy access for the employer. They don't have to go rummaging around or doing Google searches because you've provided everything for them, and that way they know that you're a lot more prepared and that you're happy for them to kind of do a background search. You know, you are who you say you are and you're happy for that to be seen. My next tip again isn't one I did every time, but would be for those specific few jobs that I really wanted and was really eager to get, follow up on them. It's very simple. If there's a job that you really want and you're really excited about it, but you know there's going to be another 50, 500, 5,000 candidates, follow up with that person, whether that's trying to track them down on LinkedIn and sending them an email, whether it's sending them a tweet or whether it's sending a direct email to HR and just being either saying like, hi, I've just applied for this role, I'm really excited to hear back from you, please let me know if there's any more information you need, or whether that's a few days later you still haven't heard back or something like that, just say like, hey, I applied for this job, I'm really interested in it and I think I'd be a really great asset to your company. Please let me know if there's anything more I can do to help you secure this role, to move my CV to the top of the pile, whatever it may be. Following up just helps you stand out a little bit. I know specifically for my boyfriend's old company, they wouldn't really look at anyone twice unless they followed up. It was a really big thing for them, and it just shows, you know, you're interested and that you're serious about the position. So if you've done all that, you've applied to the masses, you're checking the job sites every day and it's just not working, nothing's coming to fruition, I would say to write down some of the companies that you want to work for and email them personally, whether they're offering jobs right now or not. That's what I did for my internship and it worked out pretty well. So all I did was I went on Google search, or like the maps of Google, to see jobs in London in my local area, and I just typed in like event companies or conference companies, or if you're looking to get into hairdressing, like salons or whatever, you know, that kind of thing, just to see how many different places there are to work. And look at their websites, look at their social media, look at what their message is. If it's something that you could see yourself doing and see yourself working there, find that email either directly from their website, on a LinkedIn profile, whatever it might be, and just email them and say, hi, just to let you know, like, I'm currently on the job market, I'm looking for a job and I would really love to work for your company. It seems like the dream place to work. I think I would be a great fit because of XYZ. Please let me know if you have any opening positions, or do keep me on file for any future positions, or I would be really interested to do some work experience with you if you were able to. Do you know what I mean? Just that kind of thing, because sometimes there will be internal hiring, or people are just thinking about starting hiring and it hasn't been put up on a website yet, or maybe they're only hiring on a very specific website which isn't one of the generic ones that I've mentioned, so you haven't seen it. You just don't know what options are out there. So by putting yourself forward, yes, it's a little bit scary, and yes, they may not always reply, but at least you're ticking all the boxes, you know, you're trying your best and you're letting yourself be known to potential future employers. This next one is also very scary and one I hoped I didn't have to do, but it's to ask your friends and family. For some reason, I really wanted to get my role by myself, which I managed to do, but I think sometimes you have to ask for help, especially in today's climate. There aren't a lot of jobs out there, especially if you're looking for events roles. It's very, very limited. So me being the eager person I was, I practically messaged everyone I knew within the industry or out of the industry. You will find that a lot of people have done some form of events or know someone in events. So I messaged my family, I messaged my boyfriend's family, I messaged people I used to work with during my internship, I messaged people I went to uni with, I messaged previous employers, and I even messaged like random contacts of my family or of my family's friends that I'd met like once and who had said, oh, I'm in events, and I at the time I'd gone, oh cool, because a lot of people say that, but actually those contacts might have come in really handy to help me find a job. So I messaged everyone just saying, I'm currently searching for a job, so if you hear of anything, please let me know, because I'd be really interested in any position within the events industry, basically. Kind of coming off a little needy, a little desperate, maybe you can word it a bit better than that, but it's just a way of finding, again, potential roles that aren't being advertised at the moment. And a lot of people say, you know, it's not what you know, it's who you know, and sometimes knowing someone can be a very easy way of getting your foot in the door and starting your career, and it's something you should feel very lucky to be able to do and to be able to have. I know sometimes it can seem like a little bit privileged that you've kind of like jumped a step because you know someone, but at the end of the day, it's networking, which is a huge part of events, so definitely reach out and see if anyone knows of any job postings. If you've tried all that and still nothing, I would try and build your work experience, maybe take a step back. I know, again, this could be a little bit of a privilege because you would need the money to be able to work for free or do some work experience on the side or have the time to do work experience. But for me personally, although I had my degree, I also had a year's work experience, and I could use all the evidence from that to put forward on my CV, and I think that was the most attractive part of my CV, because yes, I had learned about it, yes, I had a degree, but also I'd done it for a year and I had made the company a lot of money and all of those kind of things, which people really were attracted to. And I had like, I nearly said letting agents, gosh, I've just moved. I had recruiters, that's what they're called. I had recruiters call me and say like, your CV is really impressive. So I think if there's any way you can add or stretch or find other forms of work experience you did that tied in with the events industry, add that in there, bulk it up, make it look fancy, and use hard evidence to show what you did for the company and what you can do for other companies to make you seem more attractive in the job hunting process. My last tip is the one I feel the most strongly about, and it is to be proactive and persistent. It can be really hard to apply for so many jobs on a daily basis. It can take a very long time. For me personally, I would just set aside like half an hour to an hour every day where I would apply to as many jobs as I could during that time, and it just meant I was able to apply to the masses. I had some time to tailor my CV, and I had time to kind of search all of my options and just apply to as many as I could. And new events jobs and new jobs in general are coming out every day. It's slow and steady, but there are new ones getting posted, so you want to be the first to apply to those, because sometimes they get shut down if they have too many entries or applications. So definitely kind of keep your finger on the pulse. You can also set alarms if you want to of when new jobs are going live, but just be persistent with it. It's really hard. It can be really disheartening to see that no one's replying to you or getting back to you, but just be persistent, be proactive in your search and how you're going about job hunting, and hopefully someone will see how great you are and hire you. But yeah, that is it for my job hunting tips. I hope there were some new ones in there as well as some ones you kind of knew about, but definitely worked for me, so definitely jot those down. And I just wanted to give you some really tangible, practical tips that you can take away with you and start implementing to help you on your job hunt. I really do wish you all the best of luck in your job hunt, and please let me know if you have any questions either down below or feel free to DM me on Instagram, because I'm pretty good at replying on there. There will be a second part to this video where I talk you all through the interview process, how I interviewed, some examples, and just some tips that really helped me during my interview journey. So if that's something you'd be interested in, make sure you stick around and hit the subscribe button, because I post a new video every Sunday, so hopefully I'll see you very soon. Bye.